Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. So what I have here is, it looks like, I guess, a artwork for some music CD cover. It says Angela
Yes.
van Breeman on the
Yes.
top, and then it says "In the Breeze."
Yes.
In the Breeze, Celtic-inspired music.
Correct.
It's a photo of you looking to your left, or when we're looking, you're looking off, like straight to the right.
Yes.
Your face isn't quite in profile, but you're wearing this very nice kind of black blouse of sorts.
Yeah, it's a lacy blouse.
And it's like behind the sort of the background is this kind of fade from white down to kind of dark orange at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so your expression is you're just looking, you're wearing black eyeliner. In the Breeze. So what is In the Breeze Celtic-inspired music?
Well, it's been a lifelong dream of mine to produce a CD and an album, really, although I have some friends who are old school who wanted me to also produce CDs. So I do have a number of CDs that I did get manufactured specifically for those folks. But it's available on Spotify and Apple and all the other major online music stores. But basically, In the Breeze, I've been trained in opera, but I have always loved Celtic music. So basically, this is a culmination of work that I've done with several people. I'm the vocalist, but I had some wonderful partnerships with several people, namely Cynthia Fox-Fuchile, who is my vocal coach and a wonderful friend. I've also worked with, and the main producer is Red Egg Studio by Mars Giamarco. He's an Emmy winner. And also when Mars heard that I wanted to do a Celtic-inspired CD, he said, well, you have to work with Jason Wilson. And Jason Wilson is a 2-time Juno nominee. So I was really honored to work with these stellar people. And the interpretations and the musical backgrounds that they created for the traditional pieces like Loch Lomond and A Fond Kiss and Wild Mountain Time were just phenomenal. It was so much fun working with them. But what I was particularly proud about is I write poetry as well. And so 3 of my songs have been set to music. The first one is Do You Hear the Drums? And this is an interesting story. I have a friend of, my husband and I have a friend who is named Casey Cole. And he's a fantastic musician, but most musicians do have regular jobs in order to make ends meet. And he has a fantastic house painting business. And he was over one day doing some work for us. And he's always telling me what new project he's working on. And he says, Angela, you have to hear this hand pan drum. And he started playing. And the moment Casey started playing, the words, the melody just popped in my head and I started singing.
Oh, nice.
And so over a year and a half, we worked on that particular song. It was so exciting and so original to have this piece just come from the etheric. It was just awesome. Mm-hmm. So that was the first piece. The second piece is also based on my poetry. This particular song is called I Will Be in the Breeze, which is the inspiration for the title of the CD. And this particular song ended up being quite contemporary and avant-garde. My friend Raina Valcourt read this particular poem. She says, I have a melody in my head. And so the music is very unusual and very challenging musically to sing. So it really was wonderful to accomplish this beautiful piece. And the third piece was as a result of a challenge from the local writers group that I belong to called the Wordsmiths. And they are based out of Alliston, Ontario. And it was during COVID. And so we would meet by Zoom twice a month. And the challenge was to write something about the sea. So I had it in my head to write a sea shanty. And as I was writing the sea shanty poem, I could feel and hear the music and the rhythm just coming through to me. So that was my third original piece. So of the 11 songs on the album, it's really delightful and rewarding to me to also have 3 original pieces. So that is a quick summary of In the Breeze.
Okay.
It was a real delight to work on this project. Some ideas for new songs and hope to do another album next year.
Because so I'm just kind of a nerdy kind of person who's kind of like, oh, that's interesting and that's interesting. So classically trained in opera, but why
Yes.
Celtic inspired music? Like what is it about Celtic music that drew you there? Because is that just something that you've kind of been drawn to? Because it's not quite what one would kind of connect with opera. Or is it?
Well, it can be. Some pieces can be quite operatic. It depends on how you treat it. What was interesting about this piece is Jason and Mars at one point said, "Can you take the opera out of some of these pieces? Can you sing it in a lighter tone, sing it a little differently?" That was fun to do. Like for me, that was really musically challenging to take a different approach. And they basically said, "Can you sing it more poppy?" And I did sing it more pop style.
Right.
Boy, was that a blast to do. That was so much fun.
Nice.
The reason why I love Celtic music so much is a lot of people have asked me this question and said, "But you're Dutch. Both your parents are Dutch. Why Celtic?" And I got to thinking about it. First of all, every time I hear it, my heart just starts singing. There's just something about it that my heart, my soul
Nice.
just leaps towards it. But I also know that I may have been influenced without realizing it as a child because my mother's her middle brother. So my uncle, Bert, he married a Scotswoman. And so at family gatherings, we would often visit and go to events where there was Scottish dancing and where there was the Scottish music being played. And so I think this is when I really fell in love with Celtic music in general. And also my parents would play it a lot on the records, at home. So I think I have an affinity toward it. I love it so very much that I think that I also did get steeped into that culture sort of through osmosis because of my uncle.
Right. So I know this is unfair because it's shooting it raw. It's kind of like a little bit of whatever happens. Hopefully by the end of this hour, the talking that you're doing is warming up your voice. And what are the chances what are the chances that you're going to share a bit of your singing voice with us? Maybe a few bars.
I won't have music to accompany me because I wasn't prepared for that, but certainly I can sing. I'd be delighted to.
Oh, that would be my greatest honor. Okay, so In the Breeze, so you also write poetry. So what you don't know about me, or it's just because we met, is that my first degree was in creative writing. So poetics and writing, writing and poetics to me are very big parts of my thinking and my approach to life and aesthetics. So who is born first, the writer in you or the singer?
The writer, I think.
Ah.
But when you write poetry, there's a cadence, there's a rhythm. Even when you write prose, there's a cadence and rhythm, which is very musical, if you think about it. And so when you have a reader who's enjoying reading prose, so reading a book, and then all of a sudden the rhythm stops, something's happened with that musical element to it. So I think it's hard to separate one from the other. But I think in my early days, like if I'm thinking about 5, 6 years old, always humming, but honestly, the writing came first. If I think about some of my first poems, they were when I was around 10 or 11 years old. And I had an unfortunate thing happen when I was 6 years of age in school, so I didn't sing in public because had an unfortunate situation where I was told that I didn't sound very good when I was singing, and so I was a bit of a closet singer. I sang, I sang when no one could hear, and so
Yeah.
I really think the two have always been in conjunction with each other, but certainly putting pen to paper happened first.
Nice. Great. I will maybe add a link to one of your tracks if it's on Spotify so people can listen.
Oh, it
And
won't.
look,
It's released. It's going to be released on April 16th, so it may not be available just yet. But depending on when you air this, it may very well be ready. But if not, I can send you an MP3 file.
that's very exciting. Well, since you said MP3 file, I guess we have to go on to the next photo.
Okay.
So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting